Welcome to the arena.
Battlefield.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. Part 2. We're going to get into it. Back to baked battlefields. This is part 2 of the June 8th Battle of Antioch. We're in the year 218. Okay, so this was the Romans fighting the Romans, right? We got the Syrian legions with Elagabalus, your boy, up against Emperor Macrinus, right? All the names that you love.
All made up.
And I
This
got
is
more
all
for
made
you.
up. This is, geez,
It's
dude.
not
Fiction,
made up.
not real.
It's
Same guy,
it's
King
not
James wrote
made up.
this. Okay.
So a quick kind of like catch up here is the Macrinus becomes emperor through his own kind of coup in a way. After Caracalla is murdered, the army raises him up to become the emperor. But where we were last week is there was this other coup going on from the grandma saying that this young boy, Elagabalus, is actually the son of Caracalla, right? And that's where we left off. All right.
Too many coups.
So we're going to pick up from there and then get into the battle. There's a lot of coups.
Like I'm in
dude.
math class
There's a lot.
again. What am I, calculus?
Oh my god! One of my really good buddies from the army is his name's Coup, actually.
Black guy?
I mean, it's true. No, he's Asian, dude.
Yeah, obviously.
But it's true. Like, I mean, in my TikTok lives, God, like 75% of them are coups or usurpers or whatever. So today we're going to talk about the rest of that whole bit with Elagabalus. We're going to talk about who's involved in this battle and dig into the battle itself and close this thing out. So,
Please, I hope there's blood. I hope there's blood. I hope there's blood.
He definitely did eat the Republican cake this morning.
Gobble, gobble.
So Livius he's the one that tells us that Julia Mesa paid money to the garrison at Raphanea. Now, Raphanea, was a city of the late Roman province of Syria, Secunda. Okay. And it was a Christian city. It had a bishopric, and the bishopric was a suffragan of Apamea. Okay. And she pays this garrison on May 16th. And at the garrison is a very famous Roman unit. All right. This is the Legio III Gallica. The legion was founded probably in the year 49 by Chaboy Boy Julius Caesar to help in his war, his own civil war against Pompey. Yeah. So this is a big one, right? The soldiers of the legion were exclusively from a place called the Transalpine in Gaul and the Cisalpine Gaul. Okay, so these are French guys, right?
Right. Yeah.
Ancient French.
Yeah. The French started the trans.
After Julius Caesar gets turned into a salad dressing, the three Gallica joined Mark Antony's army. And while in service to Mark Antony, the legion The Legion would go on to fight at very, very famous battles, the Battle of Munda and the Battle of Philippi against Octavian, the future first emperor of Rome, Augustus. Right? Um,
Have you ever
then
met one of those
the
Have
army.
you ever met one of those assholes that's read one in one of his books, the Mark Antony? I'm stoic. No, you're just a Bartista at Starbucks. Shut up.
That's Marcus Aurelius. That's not Mark Antony. Mark
I'm just an
Antony is the
idiot.
one that felt.
I thought I was hot shit with that take.
Mark,
Jesus.
you were so
More shit takes
close,
like that.
dude.
I might have a job at Fox News.
Oh my god, dude, you're so close. You're so close. Mark Antony's the one that was probably um related to Julius Caesar, but he was his best friend either way. And he falls in love with Cleopatra after Caesar's death. They have children together, and then they both commit. And and then that's the end. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome that expanded the empire greatly, but he was a philosopher and he wrote what we now call the Meditations, and it is a
Right.
Stoic philosophy. So you were that close, dude. You're about 100 years off.
Yeah. I'm always that close. Never achieve it. You're that close to the wall. You're really that close.
This cervix is just out of reach. I can almost get it. So the Third Legion is included in the army levied by Fulvia and Lucius Antonius to oppose Octavian, the future emperor of Rome. But they end up surrendering in Perugia in the winter of 41 BC. But they're forgiven and they're given appointment in the east later on. Okay. And that's who's at Raphania. They switch alliances to the boy, Bassianus, who was claimed to be Caracalla's illegitimate son. Right? So this is imperial politics by nostalgia marketing. It's not make Rome great again. It's remember Caracalla? We found his DLC.
Brilliant.
I mean, it's actually pretty smart. It's pretty the women in history are so like clever and conniving, and I mean they had to be to survive, right? And they were just so intellectually brilliant when it came to palace intrigue and stuff like that, and they were always looking out for their sons. So they do this.
Well, let me ask you.
Throughout history, you see this. It's just.
Let me ask you, what happened?
What happened with what? With this story that we can't seem to finish.
Clever, intelligent, clever.
Oh, wow!
I was trying to do it. See, now it's not. Now it's not funny.
Oh my god!
Now it's not funny.
It wasn't funny
when I have to. When I gotta explain it, I'm like, oh, brutal. My dad told me to say that. So
that's just because my edibles are kicking in. My dad told me this. Oh my god!
I can tell that. I can tell they're kicking in. I can tell they're kicking in because it's like I'll drop something and it's like 5 seconds later, like, yeah. The delay, it doesn't help either. The delay doesn't help either. Owner. Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
God hates lags.
Jesus. Not
I
during
hate him too.
Pride Month.
I hate.
No.
I hate. No, lags. Lags. Jesus Christ, dude.
I know
Lags.
what you
I can't
said. I
stand
know what you said.
it. Part 2, explaining
God,
every
he's just gonna
joke. Alan's gonna go,
Alan's just gonna be like, cut, cut,
we
cut, cut.
yeah, it's gonna be like, I didn't realize how both retarded you guys are. That one in the army green shirt, Jesus Christ, like I should be in a hospital. I should have the socks with the padding on it and the fruit cuffs.
The non-stick socks. Oh my
Oh, I still
God.
have those from the hospital. Every time I go to the hospital, like if I get a check-in, I'm like, can I get a pair of socks? They're like, but we didn't admit you. I'm like, I love them. The
They're
grip is
nice.
great. Oh yeah. I look like a
They're
weirdo at Starbucks
nice,
though, with
man.
the socks. It's like this guy just escaped.
Yes, exactly. So the Syrian legions flip. Okay. The key
Yeah.
military support comes from the Legio 3 Gallica. Okay. This is where the coup stops being palace intrigue and gossip and truly becomes dangerous. All right. Macrinus, the emperor, he sends a guy, Ulpius Julianus, with troops to try and crush this rebellion. Okay. Now, Ulpius, he um he was a censor. Okay. Um, and he may have been like loyal to the Praetorian prefect at the time, which was Macrinus. Okay. Um, when Macrinus becomes emperor, Ulpius would have gotten that promotion up into that role as Praetorian prefect for Macrinus. And then, so this is why he's being chosen to go crush this rebellion. He's the leader of Macrinus's personal guard, basically. He also is going to take a cavalry contingent of the Third Legion to go fight Elagabalus. Right? Um, Herodian, the historian, he says the rebels displayed Bassianus to the attackers and shouted that he was Caraculla's son, and even showed money to encourage desertion from the other side. And
It's kind of like that.
it
On
works.
themselves out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just making it
Making it rain.
that Roman Reign, bro.
Oh,
That would be a good band
crazy. I
title.
mean, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna start it tomorrow. So it's gonna be me yelling. No instruments or anything. Like, oh, he's so innovative. He has no music. It's just him yelling. He's genius. He's out of the box. Brilliant.
He's in the box.
He's in the box. He's in his. He should be in a box. Throw away the key.
I wish I was in a box.
But you know what? Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's genius, though, and we still do it in society now. With, hey, come join me. I'll give you money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Elon Musk did it. Elon Musk did it on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's like, if you vote for this wonderful man, here's $100. Yeah, I think it was like $100 or like I think
exactly
50. I think it was like $25. I'm like, dude, you got to pay me a lot more to vote for a guy.
Yeah, you're a trillionaire.
You
You better pay me a little bit fucking more.
At least $1,000. Come on. So it is interesting. I mean, dude. I mean, I can go on and on, but everything it's you look at the cell phone store.
All tied together.
in the
Hmm.
cell phone stores, they're like, we'll give you another phone. Like I remember I went to Verizon. I was super disappointed because they said if you sign up, you'll get two phones and four free lines. And so I went in there and I was like, where's the cocaine? What the hell? Can't say that. You can't say that to an ex-drug addict. And at a point, I
So I mean,
crushed
yeah,
it with Tylenol. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this here. I'm doing this here on the
I'm
store
not
floor.
leaving without doing
Like,
this. I'm going to use this iPad. Oh, you don't mind. So what do you think happened? I mean, you're describing human nature, right? This is, and that's
right.
why this kind of thing works. So what do you think happens here?
Oh, I think it's an advantage. I think
Okay.
showing you have money, you'll pay them. Here we go. Leave this guy, go
Yeah.
this guy. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so it actually goes further than that. So not only do they desert, they actually turn on Julianus and they cut his head off and they send
Oh
it
my god.
back to Emperor Macrinus. Could you fucking imagine that? You're the emperor. You're like, all right, I'm going to crush this thing. Easy peasy. It's a child and a grandma. I'm going to send one of the best legions I have with a solid general. I don't even have to think about this. And then, like a day later, the general's head shows up in the mail by the very fucking army that you relied on. That would be crazy.
Oh, that's the worst piece of mail you can get. You know what I mean? You're asking for
A
you're hoping
head,
for like a check that someone owes you. You're like, oh man, maybe someone owes me money or there's a lawsuit going on in the kingdom. Like, and then you get this head. It's like, you could have just killed him and not send me the head. You could have just told me that he's dead.
right?
You
Just send a letter. A letter would have been fine. Cheaper.
know? You could have hold it up, have a guy draw it, send me the painting, That's
Exactly.
brutal. That's brutal. Can you imagine
That's
that guy was probably
ri-
that guy was probably eating and the head showed up, sire, we got something for you. And the guy's like, oh goody. What I mean?
like
Another whore.
Jesus Christ. I
And then,
I
the head
picture him
shows up.
whenever this happens. I picture him like Brad Pitt in the movie Seven. It's like, what's in the box?
Yeah.
Lucius, it's in the box. Like,
Right. Right. And then he freaks out and what they don't show in Seven is Brad
yes,
Pitt got remarried because he's great looking and he moved
he did fine. He did fine.
on. Yeah.
Got into
Yeah.
therapy. Everything worked out.
Yeah. Alexa Pro. It's all good, dude. Little Xanax on the weekends.
Exactly. Talk about doing lines. Um, so, so that is a pretty aggressive Roman RSVP. Like, we regret to inform you we will not be attending your suppression of the rebellion. Please accept the severed head as our formal decline.
Right.
It's brutal, man.
Crazy.
And now
Crazy.
Macrinus has a big problem, right? The rebellion has a teenage imperial claimant. The Severan family branding, and the Severans were a branch of other emperors, okay? Very powerful generals, that type, okay? They have cash money, Syrian legion support, growing desertions from Macrinus' side, and they've already claimed the murder of an imperial commander whose head just became a negative performance review for Macrinus. At this point, Macrinus should have looked at the situation and said, I'm in danger. Instead,
Yeah, yeah.
he chose Rome. he chooses Roman Emperor option B, which is badly manage the crisis until it becomes a fucking catastrophe.
Huh. Interesting. I feel like I'm dealing with that right now in 2026. One idiot to another idiot. Right, here we go. That's crazy though. I mean, it just goes to show you, and we've talked about it. We talked about it throughout all these episodes. It's just pride, right? Pride just gets in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way, and this guy, he's like, I'm not gonna stop. It's like a guy that's trying to dunk the basketball that can't dunk the basketball, and he's just going over and over. It's like, dude,
exactly.
you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt yourself. Stop it. It's
Right.
midnight. There's criminals there.
He just he just kicked 5 kids off the basketball court to act a fool. Quit it. Stop it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean it
I'm
is. It's
I'm assuming things aren't gonna go well, but you're leading me there. I feel like a cow getting led to water right
exactly. Yeah. Okay. So let's let's dig in more into the like who's fighting. Okay. Macrinus and the loyalist forces. So the sitting emperor, Macrinus, he is the former Praetorian prefect, the head of the army. He is the first emperor from the equestrian order. He is politically vulnerable, militarily now under pressure, and he is increasingly hated by soldiers who thought that he was like a cheap bastard, okay, because he pulled a lot of their salaries. Um, then you get a cat by the name of Diudumenian. This is Macrinus's son and his co-ruler, which at this point in the empire, that's who was named Caesar. All right, that was the co-ruler. The poor kid gets dragged into dad's imperial mess. Okay, um, so having served as a Praetorian prefect under Caracalla, Macrinus, he goes through that plot to have the emperor assassinated, which also didn't win him any points. Um, and he exploits that power vacuum and he seizes the throne on April 11th, 217, 3 days after Caracalla's death. Now, shortly after that, Diadumenian, he's 8 years old and he's declared Caesar. And that formalizes his position as heir to the throne. Okay. This is done at a city called Zeugma. Um, his
now. This
guard
guy
was
still has a
escorting
teddy
him.
bear. He still has a teddy bear and a blanket, sucking on his thumb.
Ex-
Just got off the teat.
ex- exactly.
I can't
He's playing
even. I
Pokemon
wouldn't.
Go.
Eating his boogers and biting his fingernails.
Exactly.
Crying when he doesn't get his way.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
dumb idea.
Absolutely.
What a dumb idea.
It's awful, right? And this happens while he's being escorted by his guards from Antioch to Mesopotamia. So think like Iraq, where his father was. Okay. He's also given a new name, Antoninus, all right, in honor of the Antonine dynasty, which was the one that was at that time. So on May 16th, 218, this revolt happens, okay, in Emesa by Elagabalus. All right. And remember, Elagabalus is related to Caracolla, if not by being his son, because his mother, Julia Simius, she is Caracolla's cousin. Okay. Um, and
This is
in
some
order to
southern
put
shit.
this revolt down, it is roll tide, baby. Um, Macrinus is going to have to lead his legions now after the betrayal um, out into the field. And he leads them to a fort at Apamea. And it's here that at Apamea where Macrinus elevates Diadumenian to Augustus, making him the co-emperor at 8 years old. Okay. So just a poor kid, man. But he's here at the battle. And then you have the Praetorian Guard. Okay. Macrinus still has elite troops that fight hard. But elite troops cannot save you if the broader army decides that your leadership has expired. You know, like special forces can do a lot. But if the entire military apparatus is against you, I mean, there's only so much you can really do.
I look like I'm in special forces with this shirt. Special being the key word.
Fucking silly forces over
Imagine if
there.
they had that. Can you imagine if they had a unit? It's just all guys cross-eyed with helmets on, drilling. I guess that's the Marines, right? I don't know. Put them on the front line.
Yes. Yes. All fucking crook-eyed and from their lobotomies. Like, I want more crayons.
Well, it's just I'm picturing this 8-year-old standing up there like, I asked for a pony. I didn't ask for that. What the hell? It's the worst birthday present ever.
Exactly.
And obviously,
Exactly.
people are running it for him. You can't count on an 8-year-old to make a decision.
Exactly. Exactly. We call those regents. Okay. Regency is very, very common throughout the kind of autocratic world because you do end up with these children rulers, or, you know, in Europe, a lot you would have a female queen whose king died, and then she will kind of rule as the regent of her son until he becomes old enough. So, very, very
I
common.
think we just
And
had one of them.
we have,
We just had one. We just had one of those. Oh, I like ice cream. Let me smell your hair. Hey, man.
really, because the guy right now shits his pants at international meetings. So,
You know that whole thing about talking shit about someone and then it comes back on you? That's what's happening right now. It's hilarious. Hey, look how old
it
he is. Look
is.
how old he
It
is.
really,
You have you
he's
have
sitting there
black
and
marks
fucking
on your hands.
fucking world leaders are sitting next to him holding their noses because he shit his pants. Oh my god. But
I've done that a couple
what's
times.
what's I guess you're not a
That's not
rock
an
star
old
until
guy
you shit
thing.
your pants.
That's
We've
a
all been there.
that, that's a fat guy that eats too much fast food thing. That's not an old guy thing. Right? Is it?
What's crazy about this one though is there's kids on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Diadumenian is 8 years old. Elagabalus is only a teenager. All right. So that's the other side of this is Elagabalus, right? A
Right.
teenage priest of Elagabal, this claimed son of Caracalla, um, you know, an imperial candidate built by family strategy and money and army discontent. Okay. And behind him is Julia Misa. She's the mastermind. Okay. She's also the bank. She's the political operator of this whole thing, and possibly the most important person in this entire episode. Next to her,
It's smart.
it's Julia. So it is. It's super smart.
Oh,
And next to
and usually
her
women are
is
better with
Julia.
finances.
Almost always. Almost
Almost.
always. Nothing's an absolute, but it is in my case. Um, Then you have Julius Samisa. Somius. That's it. Sorry. Somius. This is Elagabalus's mother. And she is present in the campaign according to the traditions. And she is a part of the battlefield rallying story. Now, none of these people are generals, right? So the actual commander of this is a guy by the name of Gannis. Okay. Um, Gannis is we learn about him through Cassius Dio, the historian. Um, and we learn that he is a very good battlefield tactician. He's able to instill great discipline in his men, but he is not an experienced fighter. Okay? He's not experienced in military affairs, and he had actually spent most of his life in luxury. Okay. Um, and Cassius Dio says that it was only because fortune, the goddess fortune, was on his side. Okay.
Mm.
Um, now he is commanding Elagabalus's forces. Okay. Clearly not the most famous Roman general, but he shows up exactly at the right historical moment, which honestly is sometimes half it, right? And
Right.
he's commanding the Legio III Gallica, the legion that first acclaims Elagabalus. Without them, the secret son of Caracalla pitch, that stays family gossip, right? But with them, you get a civil war. Now, they also have the Syrian legions, okay? Legio II Parthica. And elements associated with Macrinus's response also end up like tied into the defection story in the later histories. All right. So these guys are up against basically the Praetorian Guard. All right. Now the Praetorian
Yeah.
Guard during the Roman Republic, they were escorts for high-ranking political officials, and they were bodyguards for the senior officers of the Roman legions. Now, in
So are
27
they
BC,
outnumbered?
after yes,
Thanks
so
for your coffee.
after 20 after 27 BC, Rome has transitioned from a republic to an empire at this point. Okay, and Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, he designated the Praetorians as his personal security escort. So for 300 years, they serve as the guards of the Roman emperor. All right. And they are notorious for palace intrigues. Um, they could overthrow an emperor and then proclaim his successor as the new Caesar of Rome. But finally, in 312, Constantine the Great disbands the Praetorian Guard and he destroys their barracks at the Castra Praetoria. Right. Um, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. Okay. What are you doing? Is
You
that a
see this
paw?
creeper?
He's like, he's like, motherfucker, I'm hungry. The fuck are you doing
Like,
in
let me
there?
in. I want to be on the podcast. He's like, I got some shit to talk about
Yes.
dogs,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
So
you're eating all the food without me. How dare you?
Macrinus, that's actually it. Yeah, he's pissed. Um, the Legio II Parthica, real quick. In 231, the legion fights under Alexander Severus against the Sassanid Empire, and they return with the emperor back to the German provinces. And this legion goes on to be at Mogiaticum, which is Mainz, when Alexander was assassinated in 235. And then they get into that fight and they side with Maximus Thrax. And in 238, the Roman Senate declares Maximus persona non grata, and they nominate Gordian III as emperor. Maximinus then marches on Rome to fight for his rights, and he takes the Second Parthica with him, among other legions, and he stations them at Castra Albana. But what happens next is a really good example of the political power of legions in the 3rd century. The Second Parthica end up weighing the chances of its commander, and they conclude that supporting him was actually not a good move. So they wax his ass before he could harass the Senate. And because they do that, they're pardoned
Wow.
for supporting a public enemy, and they're allowed to return back to their bases and families. Okay. So what the Battle of Antioch, what we're talking about today, precedes all of that, but it shows kind of the lineage of these units, and what's happening here ends up almost being the demise of that unit later on, right? Um,
Right.
so Macrinus is at Antioch, all right? And when news of the
Hmm.
rebellion reaches him, first he does not treat it with enough urgency. Okay. Herodian says Macrinus dismissed the affair as children and sent Julianus with what he thought was enough force to crush it. That backfires spectacularly when the troops defect and Julianus loses his head. So Macrinus sees a
Right.
teenage priest backed by a wealthy Severn grandmother and a Syrian legion and thinks, probably fine, right? This is why you need threat assessments. And by
Right. Right.
June 8th,
Grandma. Ancient
Macrinus
hate.
has to fight. So this forces him into a fight,
Right.
and the armies meet. And the modern shorthand is the Battle of Antioch. But again, the exact location of this is debated. Okay. Um, Now the fight itself, June 8th, 218. The sources differ in the details, but the battlefield story has a few strong points. Okay. Elagabalus's forces are commanded by Gannus. Macrinus relies heavily on his loyal elite troops, right? Especially the Praetorian Guard. And the fighting is intense. It's hard. Okay. Macrinus's troops initially hold up better than his overall political situation. Um, Desertion and morale end up becoming decisive. And the battle turns on him. And he he actually flees while the battle is still going on and is unresolved, which is a crazy move for a seasoned general that usurped the Roman Empire. The dude turned tail.
See ya. See ya. Like, where's he going? I don't know. Just keep
Exactly.
fighting. Adios. Go
Exactly.
get margarita. Fuck this.
Bye, Felicia. Exactly. So Herodian says that Elagabalus' soldiers fought hard because they knew losing meant punishment for rebelling against the empire, while Macrinus's troops were indifferent to the cause. And this led to a lot of those desertions. And when Macrinus saw the situation deteriorating, he stripped off his purple imperial cloak. He removed his insignia shaved his beard, covered his head, and fled the battlefield with a few centurions.
Can you imagine quitting your job like that? I just walk in the office, I take my shirt off, I start shaving my beard, I put a hat on. Later. You know, you could just put your 2 weeks in.
Exactly. An email would have been fine. Thanks.
Thanks for the beard hair all over my desk. Yes,
Exactly.
you know what? It goes to show. It goes to show you, though, the motivation the one side had compared to the other is crucial when you're in something as tough as battle, especially back then. Their feet hurt. They're not wearing Nikes. You know, their balls are exposed. They don't have underwear.
No.
You know, it's hot. The food sucks. There's no
Exactly.
bathrooms, right? There's no frappuccinos. There's no ice, which I guess that's a good thing now. But you know, there's nothing to cool you off, right? So yeah, that's
100% true.
crazy. But you know, I would
100%
have,
true.
dude. If my boss quits and he's like, I gotta get out of here. This place is. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna quit too. This is weird. This is weird. So
Oh, yeah.
I would have taken that
Yeah.
as a sign, like
Yeah.
we gotta go. We gotta go find a new job.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll take me in Africa. I know I'm not black, but I'll go to a tribe down there. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys are
Give it a
fighting down here
shot.
too. Jeez. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it's crazy. It's a crazy story. I mean, so Macrinus, it's a rare episode for Roman emperors where he doesn't make a heroic last stand. He hits the imperial unsubscribe button and he fucks off. Right. And when your
Where's it
emperor
go?
starts
Where's it go?
shaving his beard during the battle, you're 100% right that morale is probably not trending upward at this point.
Yeah.
Like the boss has gone fucking
He's just
nuts.
like this.
Just fucking.
He's just like
He's like,
he's just yeah.
yeah.
So where'd he go?
And then he covers his head and he's like, I'm the queen of, and he runs away.
I'm a lady, don't hit me.
Well, hold on.
Have menstrual cycle.
Exactly. Uh, the the Giants lost. God damn it. So hold on. There's more to talk
I
about with
love
the
the
battle.
Giants.
Before we get to that. So according to the battle history on this, when Elagabalus' side starts to waver early on, when the Praetorian Guard is kind of walloping them, Julia Mesa and Julia Somius, sorry, and remember, she is um she is the grandmother, right? Um
I
anyway,
don't know.
it doesn't matter. But
You're the one telling the fucking story.
I'm too, I'm too high to remember the two Julias. I get them mixed up. Um so she's his mother, okay? She's his mother. Um the two Julias help rally the troops. Okay, so Livius
Wow.
tells us that Mesa watched the battle from a chariot and she restrained fleeing the soldiers. She would go around in a chariot, and anyone that was turning away, she would turn them back to the battle. Okay. I mean,
I know. I
imagine
know how
being
she
a
did it.
Roman.
I know how she did it. I know how she motivated him.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Alan. Sorry, Alan. I'm gonna tell you there's nudity in our show.
They're like, God damn it, I'm in. Like, good.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, that's gonna
You
motivate
you
anything.
reminded me what I'm
Um,
fighting for.
it's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that they were restraining men. You know, it's like, hey, yeah, hey, stop. And it's like these guys,
Well,
they're buff. They've been, shh, shh. It's really, you're gonna stop me,
well,
lady.
you got to
That's
understand,
very hard
man.
to believe. That.
You got to understand the
Come
weight
on,
of
bro,
the
you're gonna
offices
stop
that they
that?
held, right?
Really? You gonna
You
stop
you
that, lady?
can't just mow over a queen. You can't just mow over the mother
Right,
of an emperor, right? It's not that simple. That
right.
office holds immense power. So that is going to stop a soldier with no status from doing too much. Now, tits out is always a good thing, but I mean, can you imagine being a Roman legionary trying to run away and the emperor's grandmother rolls up in a chariot? Like, where the hell do you think you're going? What a bizarre fucking like story, right? This isn't just women in history. This is grandma doing battlefield retention operations.
Like, just retire, dude. Retire. Bunch your social security.
Wow,
Making
Ecuador's
cookies.
jerseys are fire. Yeah, go back to fucking crocheting. Um, but Julia Mesa she was a
What?
powerhouse, man. She's basically HR,
Yeah.
payroll, campaign finance, and command morale all in one terrifying Syrian grandmother, right?
She's ADP. She's ADP. She's workday.
So the Praetorians fight hard, man. But to your point, they realize that their boss left, right? So they keep fighting after Macrinus fled. But once they realized the emperor and the imperial standards were gone, now they're in a sticky wicket, right? They were risking death for a man who had already left the building. And Elagabalus offered safety and continued service. So the Praetorians, they just stop and they switch sides altogether.
Well, it's like, these companies when Gay Pride Month comes up. Like, we're switching. We're for you guys. Yeah, yeah. Come buy our sandwiches.
Till July 1st. It's all gone.
And we're back to that. Fuck yeah. That. But I mean, what else? Other choice do they have other than the switch sides? You know what I mean? What else are they gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, there are stories where people die to the last man for, honor of a person, but this ain't it. Because if you're not going to do it with them, I mean, why the hell would they? Right? They're not going to risk their life for a dude that's not willing to
Right.
give up his own. So,
Right.
the Praetorians were still fighting, but then they look around and they realize the CEO has evacuated the company picnic, and they're like, okay, fuck this, man. Like, we're done. And they switch sides completely. And at that point, the negotiation is simple, right? Keep dying for an absent emperor or accept the teenager's job offer. And it's like, I'm gonna go ahead and check this out real quick.
Right. Yeah. This looks a little weird, grandma
So
kid. I mean, fuck it. Let's try to look something different.
exactly. This is all fucked up, but whatever. We'll figure it out. At least we can live. Um, it's
Right.
such a bizarre story, man. So Macrinus, back to this cat, right? So he strips off the purple. He dumps the imperial look, shaves his beard. He puts on a traveling cloak and covers his head, and he tries to flee looking like a courier. And Herodian says he traveled night and day with centurions driving the chariots at top speed as if they were carrying urgent imperial orders. So Macrinus goes from emperor of Rome to fake FedEx driver in about one afternoon. And the disguise
That's
plan
crazy.
was apparently no beard, no purple, big hood, act busy, which is also like, it's like how I leave a Target when I don't want to talk to anyone. But he makes
Oh,
it
don't wear a red shirt there.
to, or in LA for that matter. So he makes it to
He makes it
Chalcedon,
where?
all right? To Chalcedon.
Uh,
Chalcedon, it was originally an ancient Greek settlement, was known as Chalcedon. Um, it's found on all ancient Greek coins of that town. It's in manuscripts of Herodotus's histories, Xenophon's Hellenica, Arrian's Anabasis. It's in historical works throughout, history. Um, but in later centuries, the name was modified to Chalcedon, and then it gets Latinized as um,
and he's got
we're in
no money.
Turkey. He's got no money,
Got
so
nothing.
he get he's got nothing. All right, so he makes it to Chalcedon, but he gets captured, and he is
Uh,
exhausted, and he's ill. He caught the funk on the way. Okay, so Herodian says that his pursuers find him hiding near the city of Chalcedon. They identify him and just fucking kill him on the spot.
I'm homeless. No, don't recognize me.
Yeah, exactly.
Sir, please get out, blackface, please, please. They wet their thumb. They
Oh
go,
my
no, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a
God.
second. Wait a second.
Yeah.
You're that kooky guy. You're that kooky guy. Wow, they killed him on the spot.
On the spot. Now, remember,
Any
he
last
wasn't
any
alone,
last
right?
words?
None that I have.
I don't have any words, but I have a request. Can I
So,
get a BJ? Where you going?
exactly. So, remember, he's not alone. He brought somebody to this battle, remember?
Yeah, that's where he got the
His
funks from.
8-year-old son.
Oh, oh yeah, they'll give you funk. They're always sick. Yeah, they're always sick.
Kids are always sick.
Bastards.
So, Diadumenian, he um he's there, right? But Macrinus
Yeah.
sends Diadumenian to the Parthians, okay, present day Iran. And the goal was likely to get him to safety, or or to secure Eastern support to continue the fight. But on the way, Diadumenian is captured near the town of Zeugma. All right. Um, and this was also a Greek settlement. They actually found, not long ago, like 2014, they found these 3 large glass mosaics that had the 9 muses. Okay. Um, so historic city, but he gets captured there. And what do you think happens? Yeah. Yeah. It was a brutal time, man. It was a brutal time. But
Yeah,
the 8-year-old
amazing.
Diadumenian, he gets moited.
Wow, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
They probably just slapped them. You know what I mean?
It's
You just slap
it
a kid really hard, they die.
resilient as shit. They definitely didn't slap him. Um, but I mean, it's because Roman civil wars are allergic to loose ends. So
Right.
unfortunately, Macrinus's 8-year-old son, his story ends here as well.
Well, he
So
would
what
have
do you
grown
think
up and he
casualties
would
look
have
like for
fought
this?
against them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Casualties, I'm guessing you're gonna say, well, the number is, they're not perfect. 'Cause I'm like, um,
Hashtag casualties unknown. Buy
te-
my merch.
10,000, 10,000.
10,000. All right. So yeah, I got to be honest. Macrinus's side in the histories of this, heavy losses are implied. Okay. You get a lot of
Right,
troops deserting, and then the Praetorians obviously change side. And then Macrinus is captured and executed afterwards, and Diadumenian is captured and killed as well. So we know that that happened. On Elagabalus's side,
right.
exact losses are not really clearly preserved. Um, his forces wavered but recovered. So you can assume there were casualties, but it's really hard to glean many. And unfortunately, no reliable casualty number survives. So hashtag casualties unknown. Um, but it's because Roman historians preserve the drama, right? The betrayal, the disguises, the severed heads. But they weren't interested in the spreadsheet.
Right, right, right. They don't like Excel. I don't blame them.
Right? Exactly. So, after this, Elagabalus becomes emperor. Okay. After Macrinus is defeated and killed, the teenage boy becomes emperor of the Roman Empire. Okay. Um, his proclamation is on May 16, 218, so a year later, by the Syrian troops. Okay. And uh or excuse me, it's the same year. So Rome now has a teenage emperor backed by Syrian legions. He has Severan branding and the most effective grandmother in imperial history.
That's one grandma you want to get run over by a reindeer.
Oh, that was ridiculous. So the Senate has to accept
The big
reality,
Christmas song guy.
right? One,
Yeah. Right.
I love Christmas music. The Once the army chooses and Macrinus is dead, the Roman Senate does what the Senate often does in the third century, right? It acknowledges whoever currently has its soldiers. So the Senate's constitutional theory is beautiful, right? Whoever has the army, congratulations, you are the emperor. That's basically how it worked. But this is a
You get the
weird,
biggest army. All right.
weird period in 100%. That's it. It's like, yep, that's how you can argue with it, right? Um, but this is a really weird episode in Roman history. Elagabalus ends up bringing Syrian religion to Rome. Okay, he has been the priest of the god Elagabal at Emesa, and after becoming emperor, he brings that cultic identity into Roman imperial politics. So the god Elagabalus is associated with a black stone. And Elagabalus apparently later tries to elevate Elagabal over Jupiter in Rome. He basically says
Wow.
Elagabal is more powerful than Jupiter, previously known as Zeus. And like, this is where Rome expects a normal emperor. And instead, they get a teenage high priest with a sacred stone and a rebrand package for the entire pantheon. And it just it sinks like a lead balloon, man.
Yeah, and how
And
do
it
you
is
prove
his
that?
reign
That's
becomes
what I don't get.
infamous. Oh, I know.
How do
I
you?
know.
Oh, the rock is shiny. You know. Hang on. This is how you prove it. Here, smoke this. Take this. You'll see what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Eat these
You
mushrooms.
know.
We're going to talk in a little bit.
All right.
So
That's crazy.
Elagabalus's reign becomes infamous. Okay. It becomes notorious in later Roman writings for religious scandal, sexual scandal, luxury, and just this really alleged outrageous behavior. Okay. But a lot of what we hear about Elagabalus comes from hostile elite authors who hated him for religious, cultural, political, and personal reasons. Okay. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. So some stories may preserve actual scandal, but some may be exaggerated too. Some may be Roman
Right.
aristocrats doing character assassination with like literary flair. Um, the Roman
Right.
Senate had two hobbies, okay? Losing power and writing Yelp reviews about emperors that they fucking hated. He doesn't last long, okay? Much like many of the men we know, he doesn't last long.
Unless you had a couple drinks.
So, so Elagabalus, he reigns from 218 to 222, a wicked 4 years. And eventually he loses support, especially with the Praetorian Guard. And in 222, he and his mother, Julius why do I struggle with this so bad? Soemius, there we go. Soemius, they're both killed by the Praetorian Guard, right? And this is when his cousin, Severus Alexander, replaces him and becomes the emperor, right? So the same basic system that
Yeah.
made him emperor eventually eats him alive. And that is Roman politics, man. The latter is also a wood chipper.
Dog eat dog. That's where that came from, probably.
That's right.
Crazy.
So, I think
I'm
this
so
matters
glad I
because,
grew up
the battle
here.
of, right? Oh man, it is. We are lucky in a lot of ways. Um, so I think the Battle of Antioch matters today because it shows the Roman Empire in the third century becoming increasingly unstable, right? All the things that we've talked about, right? The battle is about soldiers choosing emperors, dynastic branding, politics, provincial power, Syrian elite influence, weak legitimacy, and civil war is a succession mechanism, right? This isn't just a battle. This is the Roman army hiring and firing emperors in real time. And it changes everything, right?
Every time you talk about the Romans, it's, this guy portraying this guy banging this guy's chick, this guy stole from him, this guy's gay. I mean, there's a lot of drama. I feel like the Roman times are like our reality shows now. I mean, it would have made great reality TV back then.
Yeah,
They had cameras.
it would have been so good.
And so, another chapter closes on the smouldering front lines as our heroes with questionable aim and even more questionable life choices roll off into the haze once more. Historians may never fully understand what happened here today. Some say it was strategy, others say it was stupidity. Most agree it was probably the snacks. If you've survived this broadcast with your sanity intact, consider enlisting. Follow the show, share it with a fellow soldier, and prepare for the next mission. Until next time, stay alert, stay armored, and stay baked. This is Baked Battlefields, signing off.